Distributech 2023, one of the sponsors of these interviews, and these are interviews with thought leaders from around North America and the globe. Our sponsors are H2 Scan. H2 Scan is the leading sensor manufacturer for hydrogen sensing in a lot of different applications, in transformers, in battery room safety, in processes and safety, in industrial, and in the future hydrogen economy. So I want to thank our sponsors, and I want to thank all of our guests, and I hope you enjoy this interview. Hi, this interview is with a friend and someone that I think we do any of these we do with John. It's John McDonald of General Electric. John, it's really good to see you again. The first thing we're going to talk about, though, is IEEE. John is a life fellow with IEEE, which means you've been doing it altogether, your age in like 100 years?
Yeah, over 100 years.
100 years, okay. That's a lot of time. But as a life fellow, that also means you've given a lot over the years to IEEE. Right. So thank you for doing that, because IEEE's whole mission is to make the world a better place for everybody. And I think you've done that. I want to talk about your role right now with IEEE as the chair of the IEEE Foundation. You're doing something in New York. Tell me about the foundation, tell me about what you're doing in New York, and then we're going to end with a question about Bruno, so get ready for that one, okay?
Well, the IEEE Foundation is a philanthropic arm of IEEE. And so for me, as I advanced in my career, it started out very all technical.
Right.
And I realized that as I got older and was able to, I wanted to give back to those organizations that helped me in my career. And not just give back, but be a part of the board.
Right.
So I'm on the board of directors of the IEEE Foundation. This is my 3rd year. But what's big for the foundation this year is the 50th anniversary of the foundation. It's February 16th, next week, and it was started in New York City 50 years ago. Well, the IEEE board series meetings are in New York City next week. So February 16th evening, we have a reception with over 250 people in New York City to celebrate the foundation's 50th anniversary. Last year, the executive director of the foundation asked me to chair the 50th anniversary celebration committee. So I built a committee, and we've been doing a lot of planning with the foundation staff to get ready for the launch. The launch will officially be next week.
Okay. So in that launch, you're going up to New York. In that launch, apparently they're going to be showing a video of you that was taken, we're going to Bruno now, that was taken in your house, different locations and things. I can't wait to see that, because I want to see it so that APC Media promotes it. But you were telling us about the last take, and you were trying to keep Bruno out of the room. Your wife is taking the dog away, and in the last take you lost out, and Bruno did what now?
Well, Bruno's my 80-pound golden doodle, and everywhere I am in the house, he's with me.
Right.
Everywhere. And so what we were trying to do, and being the chair of the celebration committee, the video, they wanted me to say a short quote as the chair.
Right.
And everywhere we went in the house to do takes, Bruno wanted to be next to me, and my wife would pull Bruno away. And so finally, at the last take, just said, just leave Bruno there. He's laying right next to my leg in my living room.
Yeah. So
they filmed it. I gave my quote. Halfway through my quote, Alan, he lifts up his head and puts it on top of my leg and looks at the camera. So the professional media company that we used to edit the video said that's the tape we want to use.
Oh, that's great.
So the video will officially be a part of the launch next week. And I'm anxious to see the reaction of folks that have known me for a long time in IEEE, but didn't know that part of me.
So in tagging you with your background, they also had to tag to make it Bruno. What's Bruno's title again?
So they said, I'm the chair of the committee and all this stuff, director on the foundation. We need a title for Bruno, so he's the IEEE Foundation Chief Canine.
I love that. We want to get with those people and see if we can't splice that into this interview, so that'll be great. I want to move now to something. Well, and this goes back to the foundation. Okay, I'm gonna switch gears a little bit, but the foundation is 50 years old. The world is changing. Okay, when it was founded, there were certain ideas. And because of the value of IEEE globally to society, and I don't think people really understand the technical value of what IEEE has brought, the power energy society, what they brought. That's about 30,000 members.
40,000.
40,000 members. So the grid, the fact that the lights are on, IEEE has had a lot to do with that. And that's why we at APC, we value it. I've been a member now for I think 15 years. I wish I'd joined a long time ago, but I'm a mechanical engineer.
Right.
So I thought only electrical engineers could join. The greatest challenge for the foundation you see going forward is what?
We have a strategic planning meeting next week. We have a retreat prior to our board meeting, and this is what we're going to talk about. But really, it's people will donate to things that they have a passion for, that they connect with. So to me, as times change, how do people's feelings change? What are they interested in? And we have to make sure that we have programs that people can connect with.
Right.
Part of the foundation, we have 8 big IEEE programs that are partnering with us on the celebration.
Right.
And so we want to help them with our strategic initiatives with the foundation, the fundraising for the celebration, but also help the foundation in general. So that, to me, it's keeping up with the changes with people, with technology, and making sure you're relevant.
Excellent.
Yeah.
And I'm glad the foundation's there. I'm glad you're doing that. So thank you for that. Switching gears now, let's go to John McDonald, General Electric. Every time I talk to you, I think you have a new title, but you really do, you're about smart grid.
Right.
You're about renewables. You got a lot. What is it that you're doing with GE right now?
So I think the smart grid business development leader, which means you're basically up above all the product lines.
Right.
Because customers are looking for integrated solutions.
Right.
And that's products, that's components and products and systems across different product lines.
Right.
So somebody has to have the knowledge of all the product lines and be the bridge from GE to the customer and say, customer, what is it you want to do? I can help the customer map out what they want to do, which cuts across multiple product lines. And then I can bring that back to GE and say, we need these things from these product lines, and help the customer have one point of contact for an integrated solution, understand their needs, but also understand GE well enough to know what components, what technology from GE would be needed and how it should be integrated together. So I do a lot of work with standards, but also a lot of work with the product lines and with technology development.
Okay. I was at a conference with you, and I was speaking, and someone told me, because we all know I'm on a board of a mutual fund, so we look at capital stocks a lot. And when GE was announcing the fact that they were going to have GE Medical, they were going to have GE Aerospace, right? And they were going to have another one for the power systems. Right. Is that announced now? Is that public knowledge? And what's that new name?
It was announced last year, and it's bringing together GE Digital, GE Gas Power, GE Renewable Energy, and then my GE Grid Solutions. And it's called GE Vernova.
Ver for green, Nova for new.
Right.
That's excellent. You know, when I first heard it, I thought they were doing away with the GE bullet, and it was just going to be called Vernova. And I thought, well, you're going to have to rebrand everything. But the fact that it's GE Vernova and it's a green logo, I thought that was pretty cool. So anyway, a lot of people don't know about that. When they hear GE Vernova, they don't realize it's a lot of things that came in under one umbrella, which is better for the customer, right? Yes. So your role is customer-centric. We talked about the challenge that you had for the foundation. Tell me about the challenge that you have with smart grid, with the overall changes that are taking place in technology and changes that are taking place around people, because I believe it's people and processes. Process is part of technology. They're the two things. What are the biggest challenges the customers that you talk to are facing?
I think, to me, the biggest challenge, one of the biggest challenges for a customer would be, if they can, to get out to conferences, whether it's IEEE conferences or whatever, and really see products, see technology, and talk with people to learn about what's going on, because things are changing so quickly that it's hard to keep up. And when you buy new product, you want to make sure you're aware of what the latest and greatest is. You don't want to be serial number one.
Right, right.
But again, you don't want to buy something 10 years old.
Be first to be second.
Yeah, exactly.
Exactly. Yeah.
So to keep up with that is virtually impossible today. So to me, the challenge is, is knowing the right people that you communicate with.
It's trust. That's trust. You got to.
Well,
you got to have trust for the advisors who are.
You have to build a relationship with the right people. So you have a trust relationship, so you can learn from them, right, on a continuous basis.
Yeah. So we just heard the announcement that the exhibitor floor will be open, but you and I are already on the exhibitor floor.
Right.
Because we're at Distributech in 2023. With that, I want to take a turn on the technology part. You just did a panel at TechCon, and the panel was, this is an example of what you're talking about, was on the replacement of SF6 gases, right?
Yes.
And who did you have on your panel?
Well, we were very fortunate. We wanted as much as possible the leaders in the world, not just North America, but the world. So we had GE Grid Solutions with the G cubed alternative. We had Hitachi Energy with Econ IQ with their solution. And then we had Siemens Energy with their clean air vacuum interrupter technology.
Amazing. See, that's a change in technology that everybody needs to know about.
Yes.
And you brought the three, I'm going to say it, giants of the industry. Nice panel, right? Nobody poked anybody or anything?
I was surprised. I didn't know, I only knew the fellow from GE.
Right. And
so I didn't know the other two. And what was nice was, and they were sitting right next to each other, so they could have easily, but they, when one would answer and another one would contribute, they were very supportive and they would add additional comments. Yeah. But it was three different company perspectives, but in a very positive way.
You see, that's industry serving, not company serving.
Right.
It serves the company because they're part of it. But you asked them a question at the end, and that was that one question that you like to ask. If you could pick one challenge, what were some of the answers that they gave about the number one challenge?
Yeah, the question is, there's no question that this has to be done. So what was the biggest challenge from each of the three companies, each of the three people? One was policy, because so much of what we're talking about is regulations and policy. And as we all know, policymakers may not have the urgency that we have in the engineering industry. And also policy is very much country-centric.
Right.
And we're talking about global issue. Second thing was time, okay? Wow. When you take the insulating gas and change it for a high voltage circuit breaker, for instance, and you want to keep the same footprint, right?
Right.
And the same specs or better specs, that takes time.
Right.
And then once you design it, you have to certify it before it can be commercially sold. And that's a challenge. That takes time. So the customers really, from the three companies' point of view, the customers really expect, their expectations are, we can get solutions very quickly.
Yeah, all right.
And when they see the roadmap of the three vendors and say, we're starting with a 420 kV breaker and it'll be available in a year or 2 years.
Yeah.
And then the next product might be 3 years. They're saying, why is it taking so long?
All right.
But there's a lot of steps that have to happen and other organizations that are involved, like certification organizations.
Yeah. You mentioned too, and we're talking about it, one of the biggest issues that technology is changing, that's one. But another major issue is people.
Yes.
Is the whole idea of, and that's from skilled crafts, unskilled craft, getting craft workers, engineers, and those people that are managing that change. Talk a little bit about what they were talking about and your thoughts on how do we address the problem. We know it's a problem.
Yeah.
How do we address it?
What was interesting was both from vendors as well as utilities. They said their biggest challenge is people.
Right.
Finding people, because you have Amazons and Microsofts and Googles. They're taking very accomplished power engineering people for data centers and the things that they're doing, and hiring them away from utilities and from our industry. So the question is, how do we find the people we need? Because, you know, projects are continuing to be done. Investment, we have the investment reduction, you know, the IRA in the U.S., which could stimulate a whole bunch of new projects.
Right.
But we need people to do them. And so I think the challenge is how do we present what we do in an attractive enough way that it brings people to us. And this could be people of all ages and all experience levels. But, you know, to me, to young people is very important. And we've done a lot since 2006 and 7 in the IEEE Power and Energy Society.
Right.
You know, we changed the name of the society in 2008 to Power and Energy instead of engineering. And the idea was, you know, we're helping the environment, we're helping society with what we do, and that attracted a lot of young people. And we need to keep thinking, how do we package what we do in an attractive way? And we aren't the best at doing that.
No, and you know, the utility industry as a whole is thought to be very archaic. You know, they're not changing, they're not doing. That's not true anymore. And I think in what you just said, I think that's got to be the key. The next generation, and I'm not talking about kids out of high school or college, I'm talking about professional engineers and tradespeople. If they know they're making a difference, that it matters, it's as important as, hey, I get good pay benefits and everything. The utility industry is making a huge difference, especially with the electrification of everything, right?
Right.
So I think that doesn't help Microsoft and Amazon and the others, but it certainly does and will help the utility industry. So that's something.
Well, we found with the younger people, students and young professionals, with the full-time engineering work that they do, the amount of money they made and where they lived was third in importance.
Really?
Yeah. And that's why we changed the name of PES from Power Engineering to Power and Energy. Number one was, I want a full-time job that is helping the environment.
Right.
Number two, I want a full-time job that's bettering society.
Right.
And number three is how much money I make and where I live. And that was revolutionary to us.
Yeah, absolutely.
We never anticipated that. So that's it. We now know what we need to change to help attract young people to.
And given some of those other companies have done a lot of layoffs recently, you know what the career in the utility is? Stable.
Yes.
I mean, that's why there are life people in that. And that's true whether you're a supplier like GE to the industry or whether you're actually a utility providing it from the co-op all the way to the big power gen people. But anyway, John, it is always a delight to talk to you. We're at Distributech 2023 in San Diego. Are you coming to IEEE Smart Grid Conference in April in San Diego? Are you going to be at that conference?
That week, Alan, I was coming. I was going to chair a panel session, and Purdue University, where I got my bachelor's and master's degree, they sent me a letter and said, congratulations, we're honoring you as a distinguished engineering alumni. And the awards banquet is the same week at Purdue. So I had to cancel the panel. My family will be at Purdue University. I'm going to be getting a Distinguished Engineering Alumni Award that same week.
Now, if we weren't doing April, then I would send a camera crew to make sure that we filmed that. Do me a favor, send some stills of that so that we can promote that. Okay, but John, it is always a delight to talk to you. We do our favorite restaurant in Atlanta, Seasons 52.
Right.
And we got to do that again soon.
Look forward to it. Thanks, Alan. Always good to see you.
This has been an APC Technologies production, and we thank you for joining us. Our sponsors have been H2 Scan and Distributech. And of course, the communities of APC Technologies, which is Transform Technology, Power Systems Technology, Green Energy Technology, and Women in Power Systems. So thank you.